Alright, we're live. So sorry for being late. My iMac sucks. Anyway, it's getting old and this is the kind of stuff that happens when you want to live stream. Everything that can go wrong goes wrong. So welcome everybody. Sorry for the hold up here. I've sort of been rushing around to get all of this working. So hopefully we're all good. Let us know if the audio's okay, video's okay, all that kind of stuff. Welcome back everybody. Thanks for joining in on the live stream. There's a bunch of comments here as well. I'll get to them right now. So, alright, let's go to the top. Actually, the only comments I can see so far is from when I posted. But welcome, everybody. Greg, thank you for joining in, mate. John, you made the call, do an evening one. So here we are, Thursday night, almost 9:30 p.m. Simon Williams, welcome, mate. Todd Steele, awesome stuff, mate. Thank you for I think you contributed to... Todd, the other Todd Flowers GoFundMe. Thank you for that, mate. Thanks to everyone who chipped in as well. I mean, poor guy lost his house, and yeah, I've never ever shared anything like that before, but he's been such a big supporter of the guitar community, like for years, at least a decade, right? So yeah, well, at least we raised some money, raised a few bucks for him, so that was awesome. Thank you, everybody. Jamal, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Thanks for joining in, mate. All right, we've had our first hot day here in, well, hot. It was shorts weather today for the first time in a long time. So hopefully it's shifting. All we've had in Melbourne, it's been cold for a lot longer than normal and way windy, way too windy. So yeah. Anyway, welcome. All right, we got DMS is here. Welcome, mate. How you doing? Awesome stuff. Thanks for joining in. I need a drink while we do this. Alrighty, cool. All right, let me turn off this echo. So the audio should hopefully sound better now. Anyway, let's see how we go. Yeah, yeah. So when stuff doesn't work, problem is when you reinstall Mac OS, it like updates a whole bunch of stuff. I had to reinstall my streaming software again. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Hey, there he is, Todd Flowers. How are you, man? Awesome stuff. Thanks for joining in. Hope you're doing all right, mate. And yeah, it was great to see some of the community help you out. So it was the least I could do, mate. Thank you for all your support over the years. Guys, if you haven't seen the GoFundMe and you're aware of Todd Flowers, I'll link it down in the description. It's poor guy lost his house, man. Like, and everything. So brutal stuff. The old Florida storms. And I laugh because it's like my favorite area. And I remember one time seeing a hurricane in the distance, and I was like, whoa, I'm not used to that. Little Aussie guy checking out crazy weather. So, yeah, insane stuff. Hey, we got yet another guitar channel. NJ, welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining in. It's been ages since I've messaged you. I got to message you back, mate. I'm so crap when it comes to Instagram. But, yeah, thanks for joining in. Just to let you know, too, guys, I've got a whole bunch of stuff scheduled for November already, if you missed the last live stream. So I've been filming videos over the last sort of week or two. Got at least 2 to 3 videos a week through November already up. So that'll be cool. I'm actually going away second week of next month for 10 days. And I'll share that with you when I'm there. Just a quick trip away, have a break, reset the neurons and all that kind of stuff, get a little sun. And although we are coming into warmer weather here, it's been crap. I can't wait to go. So I'll share that with you when I'm there. I'll fill in the members and the Patreon crew ahead of time. But yeah. Anyway, that's what we've got going on. I haven't got much planned so far for December or pre-scheduled, but I'll get around to that at some point moving forward. So welcome, everybody. We've got the Pork Chop Express. Awesome stuff. Good to see you, man. Simon says, sorry to hear about your house. Yeah, man, I couldn't believe it. I just could not believe it. And Tone King shared the thing too. So shout out to the Tone King, Lewis. You're an awesome dude, mate. Thank you if you do see this. All right, we're going to take some questions, just talk shop, all that kind of stuff. I'll talk about what's going through my brain when it comes to guitar gear. But yeah, I've got some interesting tests coming up too. I've put a couple of different amplifiers back to back and also tested out the, what do you call it? The Nuix Mighty 60 Mark II. It's such a hard name to remember, with some external effects, and I think you might be impressed. I was impressed. I've never impressed running pedals into a digital modeling amp. Even the Tone Masters don't do a proper job of that. So this is pretty cool, and that'll be coming up. So not to spoil it too much, but all right. Cool. Debating to turn off the heat in my house. It got cold all of a sudden. Yeah, man, I think I heard Canada's copped it a bit. I don't know exactly. Hang on, what country are you in again, man? Sorry, I'm terrible remembering the fine details. I know I've seen you around for a long time, but yeah, I think we've just finally had one nice day, and it felt like summer, and then now it's raining again. It's like, come on, man. It's just been the windiest year I remember ever. Like, not that I should be complaining. Oh, my charger's not charging the camera. One sec. There it goes. Sorry about that. I just want to make sure it's charging. Yeah, it's been the windiest year I remember ever. I don't know what's going on. Not that it compares to other parts of the world, obviously, but yeah, it's just insane. Have I ever done solo acoustic gigs? I have not. I'm not good enough on acoustic guitar to do that. I'm not scared to admit it. It takes a certain type of player. I've done duos, but never solo acoustic stuff. And to be honest, unless you're really good at it, like you've got a great voice or you're interesting to listen to on guitar, I find it a bit of a bore. Honestly, you would need to really captivate someone either vocally or guitar playing wise. And if you're mediocre at both when it comes to my vocals and my acoustic guitar skills, then I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. So quick answer is no, but I've done plenty of duo gigs where I'm doing like, I'm just playing lead or mixed with rhythm stuff. I've done those over the years as well. All right, let's take some questions here. All right, we've got Todd. He says, so Shane, are you going to buy the PRS Silver Sky? What did you think of it? It's great. I'm considering something at some point. You know what? I'd like to try the new Fender Player 2s at some point. They're coming in to Sky Music. They should be in it, like, hopefully by November. It's like the longest turnaround ever. They were announced months ago, right? And yeah, I don't know. It's like, where are they? They still haven't hit the shores here. So if I can find a lefty, in terms of the lefties haven't hit the shores, the right-handed ones are here. I'd like to try one of those as well. I've got a mod project idea I'd love to do. It would either be the Silver Sky or just like a bog standard sort of Fender. I really want to get another Fender. It's just, I think there's a lot of these other guitars that are doing it as good or better. Like my Kiesel's a great example. They've kind of benched my Fender guitars a lot. So maybe a PRS Silver Sky might be the better alternative. I'm going to just crunch some numbers at some point. But as of right now, I've got enough stuff. But I do want to do a project guitar. And it may be the one, because I've got a set of pickups sitting here and a pick guard I'd love to put into something. So we'll see how we go. Yeah, let us know in the comments anyway, guys, if you've got one, because I loved it. I thought it was great. It was, as I mentioned, there was some aesthetic things I didn't love about it. The neck join near the headstock looked a little cheap, and the plastic definitely looks a little cheap, but it played so great, and the pickups sound unreal, so I can't complain about that. Ever been guitar shopping in Japan? I have not. I went to Japan in June this year, but it was for a different thing. And while we got down while we went to the city area, I didn't see any guitar shops when we were in Osaka. So unfortunately, no. I'd love to go back and check out some guitar shops there. I didn't have a lot of time. I either had an event that was like 4 days, and then I had 2 extra days to do stuff, and we ended up just walking around a lot. And yeah, I didn't want to turn it into just like doing more work stuff. It would have been a bit much, but Japan is so good. I could spend 6 months in Japan. I love it. I think it's one of the nicest places I've ever been. It's one of the tourist capitals now of the world because everyone's working out how great it is. But yeah, at some point I would definitely like to go back and do that for sure. Any thoughts on Heritage custom core guitars? I don't know if I played the core guitars, but I've definitely played a few Heritage guitars at Jerry's years ago. They're basically like a nice Gibson. So if you like a nice Gibson guitar, you'll like a Heritage guitar. I'm sure there's people who swear, oh, they're much better because of this, or they're not as good as Gibson because of that. They're basically the same guitar, so they're great. I saw one at a Guitar Set Saturday we did at I think it was Mega Music in Perth a little while back. It was a righty though. I didn't get to play it, but they're nice. Like I think they made the Kalamazoo factory, or they were at some point. Beautiful guitars, yeah, absolutely. All right, let me see if I've missed any questions here. Sorry guys, I'll just double check. I was running a bit late today, so apologies again. All right, cool. We got 650 Thunderbird. Welcome, mate. Sorry if I didn't say hi before. All right, there it is. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, mate. Yep. I'll just leave that on screen for a moment here while we get down to the questions. We got Gospel of Mark from, he's from Maryland. Yeah, so there you go. Awesome. Welcome, mate. Here we go. The Pork Chop says, I remember you had a Greenchild pedal. Do you still have it? I demoed plenty of those over the course of like, I would say 3 years. I think he sort of shut shop at some point. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I think he had like a some sort of like meltdown on social media or something. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I'm not on Facebook, so at that time I wasn't on Facebook either. But I remember one day his Instagram was gone, and so the quick answer is no. I don't have any of their. Oh, actually, there might be one left. I think I've got like a Blues Breaker pedal somewhere potentially, but yeah, that 3-pedal tri-bus thing, a good friend of mine, Dom, uses that. And it's so, I mean, he pulls great tones out of anything, but he makes it work. And they've got the brightest LED lights you've ever seen. You look down and you look up and you can see them on the ceiling. That's how bright they are. It's crazy. But he made some good stuff. There was some stuff that was a little bit, there was a lot of stuff that was hit, and there was some stuff I felt like weren't quite as good as what he was trying to replicate. Because when he first started, he actually said, oh, I want to make a pedal. What do you like? And at the time, I was like, a tube screamer with a clon on the other side, switchable. It never quite sounded 100% the same. It still sounded good, but it was always a little bit different. He was re-engineered it in a way that he was a smart guy. I think he was like an ex-military guy or something. But yeah, when it came to engineering, it was phenomenal. But he'd overcomplicate something that should have been potentially more simple. But I think that's the bug of the engineer, right? All right, we got Electric Eel. Welcome, mate. like your little cartoon guitar play thing there. That's cool. Who would you get to service a Peavey Bandit in Melbourne? Look, there's a few techs around. Tim Evans in Seaford is by far my favorite. He's a bit of an eclectic sort of dude, but he knows his stuff. He's sort of he doesn't take 100 years either. There's some dudes to avoid in the northern suburbs. They're useless. They have no idea what they're doing. So if you can get down to Seaford, look up Tim Evans Engineering, I think his website's called. And he's fantastic. He'll fix your stuff. He's worked on, I think he's the official Fender tech as well, but he's not, he'll fix anything. He's not a Fender employee. He just, if something breaks down, he knows how to fix it. He does boogie and all kinds of stuff. The guy's a wizard. So yeah, go check him out. Any indication on when the PRS Zach Meyers Lefty will be in stores? I don't know, man. I kind of felt like they asked me to hold off on those videos for like a month. I filmed them, sent the stuff back, and then I had to wait until the 9th and 10th or something to release the video. So I assumed they should be available in some stores now. And if they're not, they can't be too far away, right? So hang in there. I would have thought for sure those two that I tested would be somewhere by now. I know Sky Music, where I borrow a lot of the stuff from, have ordered a whole bunch of those lefty Silver Sky, so I'll be able to test some more out. But yeah, it just seems like there's sort of like a hold up with stuff coming in at the moment. Like even with the Fender stuff we were talking about before, it's like, where's that? All right. But great guitar. Just on that topic, man, that guitar was way, way, way better than I thought it was going to be. It was definitely one of the best guitars of 2024 for me. No questions about it. Tone was great. Felt great to play. Sounded awesome. Don't need it. Yeah, maybe. They're all sold out immediately. Played too. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I know the lefties were late, at least getting to Australia, because again, I signed an NDA to do the release of those, and I had no guitar. It's like, oh no, they're going to be like an extra 2 months. It's like, oh great. So anyway, they shouldn't be too far away now. What do I think about the Fender Telecaster Texas Special pickups? I think they're great, man. The Texas Special Strat and Tele pickups are a good option if you're looking for like a higher output pickup. The Strat pickups are awesome. I have no problems with higher output Strat or Tele pickups. I've never owned a set of the Texas Specials, but I've heard them before. I've heard guitars with them, and friends of mine have used them, and I've owned the Texas Special Strat pickups, and they were great. So, yeah, I always say to people, like, if you're looking to change pickups and you've got a low output set, check out Texas Special. Same for the Tele. I think they're great. I should probably try them at some point. They're cool. They're really cool. Like the Tele ones, I mean. Fender announced the Ultra 2 series, only lefties, a Strat Texas TR3 color Ultra Burst with ebony fingerboards, or Avalanche White with maple neck. You know what? I saw those videos go up on Fender's YouTube channel, and I wasn't interested. I know that sounds kind of weird. I was just like, this number two. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like, wait for number 3. It's going to be even better. I don't know. I would like to know what they've done to those. I should look them. I'll definitely have a look at them at some point. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's sort of like doesn't excite me, that particular model. I don't think they're bad guitars. I think the Ultras are pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think. It's like Namm, the same stuff as last year, but with a new paint job. That's pretty much covers everything. That's why I've been so on the fence about going. It's like, what should I go to Namm at some point? Probably, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's all too similar. It's the new XYZ pedal with an extra new CPU. Great, and then we use 3 effects the entire time. All right. There we go. Cool. All right. Good Vibe says, I found a lefty PRS SE Custom 24 Korean made, used for around $600, and your review of the guitar helped me buy it. Thanks. Hey, you're welcome, mate. The initial run of those made in Korea guitars are great. So yeah, well done. I'm glad you're digging it, and that's a great price, by the way. That's way cheaper than what I paid for mine. I mean, you got it used, obviously, but yeah, that's fantastic. Oh, here we go. John's got another post here. For some reason, I'm seeing stuff not in order. I'm tipping here. Anodized aluminium pickguard, or aluminum, depending on how the spelling is, because they're spelled differently. I didn't realize that until a few years ago. Luminate side dots, 10 to 14 inch compound radius. Oh, that's kind of cool. S1 switch to add the neck pickup in all positions. So yeah, okay. That's pretty much the same configuration they had on even going back to the first SC noiseless pickups had that combination where the S1 switch would kick in and that neck pickup would kind of work with everything. So yeah, cool. Well, thanks for the heads up. Yeah, I'll definitely look into it. I've just been kind of cranking out stuff here at the house, and I'm making more of an effort not to look so much at what's going on and just sort of focus on doing things. So I will check it out. They kept popping up on my feed. I was like, oh, come on, man. It's just more torment with the guitar world. It's like finding stuff you didn't know you needed until it shows up. Lee says, I need to switch out the pot, switch out the jack on my SE Santana 2018. Easy mods, but I wonder if these are common issues. The rest of the guitar is great, particularly the neck. Yeah, the switch, I'm not surprised, depending on how old it is, I guess, 2018. Yeah, if it's well played, that's probably not uncommon. I mean, that will happen on a Made in Mexico Strat, too, if those switches go bad way sooner. So depending on, obviously, how much you've played them. That's just one example. I mean, the Tokai I've got went bad within that amount of time as well. So, yeah, interesting. I'll see if anyone else has had those same issues. I've still got the same pots in my guitar. I know mine's not a Santana, but I've got the same volume and tone controls that were in there originally, but the rest of the guts got ripped out with the new pickups went in. So, yeah. I don't know if the switch was changed. I don't think it was, but you know, some people are pretty heavy-handed on switches as well, so probably the more people are slamming them around, they may could potentially wear faster as well. But at least you've probably got a Switchcraft in there or something now anyway. You'll be fine. All right, Ricky, welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining in. 666 says, I'm a lefty guitar player. I've bought several guitars, but almost every one of them has a problem. The guitar high E is E more relief than the low E. It's the common problem for lefty guitars. It really depends on where you're getting it from. But I've always had certain shops never really look at guitars. They'll just put them on the wall, and because they're lefty, they kind of get abandoned. And other shops really take care of making sure the action at least matches to a measurement as opposed to how it plays. And even that will work a lot of the time. So, yeah, I mean, that's a minor thing to fix. It's usually pretty easy. I've played guitars where the high E's too low and it's buzzing, so just a half turn on each of the saddles, and yeah, it brings it right up. So, or brings it up to a point where it's playable. So I wouldn't let that bug you too much, but yeah, it just depends on, I would say, where you're getting it from, or where you're buying it from, or if you're just playing it at a shop, whether or not they've actually set it up. Stuff can move around in boxes. You know, I go and pick up like almost everything you see on the channel from Sky Music when I do borrow stuff, and yeah, you'll be surprised how much stuff comes out of the box, and I'm like, oh, it needs a setup. But if you play it off the wall, it's better because they've actually looked at it. So yeah, there's that too. But I'm sure it's probably pretty common also for, I think I had a guy on here the other day who's right-handed and had the same exact issue with his high E on the Strat. So yeah. Favorite EHX pedal? You know, I like a lot of theirs tone-wise. I'm not a huge fan of their build quality. The pots they use, especially on some of their overdrive pedals, are like basically plastic. They're built to a price and not a good price. But I would say one of my favorite dirt pedals would be the Soul Food. I think I was one of the first in the world to demo one of those back in the day. And I also liked some of their organ pedals, just for their uniqueness, and what they can do is pretty mind-blowing. So they've got a lot of great stuff, by the way, but I would say some are built way better than others. Like, how can you go wrong with the Big Muff too, right? Although I don't use those in the live mix, they're always good fun. You click it on, you just go. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Do you know any Japanese lawsuit era guitars from the 70s? Yeah, I mean, we get heaps of those in Australia. Every used guitar shop you can walk into. So yeah, the Bernies and the Orvilles and the I've got a Tokai guitar which is made in Japan, although that one is from 2010. It's got a Gibson headstock. Or 2008, or however long I've had it. I don't remember, but I know it wasn't 2010. It was after that. It was maybe 2012. But just such a great guitar. Like, it's outlived all of my Gibsons, and that should be a testament to, except for my Flying V, I've still got that, but all of my Les Paul style electric guitars. They're great. They're awesome. I I know friends of mine who play. One of my friends has actually got an Orville, and he's kind of like he sanded it back too. He's had it for I don't know how many years, but yeah, beautiful guitars. I don't know all the electric guitars from that era, but I've come across so many different ones from, different shops around the world, all that kind of thing. So that's awesome. Good Vibe says he also bought a Lumix S5 for cheap. Hey, awesome, man! 3 months ago. So happy that another YouTuber channel was good confirmation of my purchase. So nice to cover both cameras and guitars. Hey, thanks, mate. I appreciate that. Yeah, the cameras thing's fun, and I'm sort of getting out more and seeing some sunlight when it's not raining and overly windy. It's good to make a mix of content. I think next year I'm going to lean into the tech channel a little bit more for a while, just to keep things fresh. And it's good. It's healthy to take a break. I know a lot of YouTube guys will post pointless daily videos that have no soul, but I like to do it when I'm feeling good. So yeah, I'll take probably a little bit of a backseat in the blues for, well, January. I inherently don't post much, but it'll give me time to start sort of queuing up for February and so forth. But yeah, the tech stuff is fun. I'm enjoying it. It's funny. I used to work in tech, and I never wanted to do a tech thing. And then since leaving it and just going headfirst into guitar stuff, it was great to have a second sort of outlet, and that's doing really well. It's kind of growing nicely, and I don't put enough time into it, and that's going to change coming up at some point. But thank you, mate. And that's a great camera, by the way. I had 4 of those. 4 S5s. That was my rig at my old house. And then I was using 3 S5s here with an S5 Mark II. And then I ended up trading in it. Oh, anyway. Story for another day. What's my favorite? Oh, sorry. I'll take this one. I just missed one. What's my favorite Univibe? My favorite modulation pedal of all time is the VS Audio Vibler, which isn't technically a Univibe. I think it's like a vibrato pedal or something like that, but it's great. It's a little on the noisy side. You sort of hear it in your signal if it's after your dirt pedals, but when you turn it on, it's awesome. It's so good. It's like an imperfect kind of pedal. I love it for what it does. It's great. And in terms of Univibe, Dr. Rick's had so many good ones. I don't know if I've actually... There was like a Moore one that I reviewed, or Moore, or however you say it. Years ago, it was like fairly inexpensive, and that was really good. But yeah, the Vibler is definitely my favorite. I don't know if that's technically a Univibe pedal or not. Let me just... I think I missed a question here. Aaron, welcome, mate. He says, I'm late here. Have you tried out the Tone Master Bassman? I ended up buying one after trying one. They're not bad considering I don't like Tone Masters. Oh, congrats, man. That's cool. I haven't tried one. I did get an opportunity or an offer to go to Sydney to try one at Fender's HQ, but I don't know. I didn't want to do that. Not to say that that's a bad thing, but yeah, it would have cost me more than it was worth. So, but anyway, it is what it is. As soon as I get to try one, whenever Sky Music gets one in, I'll borrow it. So hang in there. I kind of like dealing with the store, although it doesn't potentially allow me to get things when it's released. I have to deal with these companies, and I hate dealing with the companies. It's just not fun. I'd rather just go pick stuff up, take it home. It's a lot easier than sitting there sending emails and trying to organize stuff. It's a pain in the ass. So if it's in the store, I can borrow it, and when it is there, I'll definitely grab it. So stay tuned. And yeah, I'm glad you like it, man. And I covered it on a podcast a little while ago, talking about how I like the fact, obviously it's got the power attenuation thing like they all do, but it's got reverb. Yes. They really need to reconsider how they make amps like the deluxe reverb version. Like make a new version that's twice as loud, single 12-inch speaker, still have the power attenuation on the back, put an effects loop in there, make it modern. Like how many 65 deluxe amps do people need? It's kind of like the same thing again. Namm. The same thing every year with a new paint job. It's like they could come up with an amp that I'm sure people would love that pays tribute to the classics like the Bassman does, right? It's got a reverb circuit. Like, try doing that with potentially some of the classics. I think that'd be a really great move. What do I think of the artist Bullbucker pickups? They're great, man. Yeah, I had no problems with them. I swapped out some Roswells from a CST 24 HB and the with the Bullbucker. Sorry, and I'm stoked. The Roswells were very tinny. Oh, okay, far out. Yeah, the Bullbuckers are basically like burst buckers. That's the, I think, the inside joke there. So if you like the Gibson burst buckers, which are one of my favorites, then you'll get a kick out of those. They've probably got way more, a little bit more oomph than potentially some of the Harley Benton pickups, but Harley Benton pickups sound pretty good too. So yeah, it is what it is. It depends probably on the guitar. Drinking poor man's cola tonight. LA Ice. I'm glad the pickup swap worked for you, Matt. That's awesome. Steven says, I'm new to the channel. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. Love you with all your demos of gear. Cheers from Today, Western Australia. That's a hard name to say. But yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. Yeah, the channel's got a pretty big archive now of videos. It's crazy how many things are on there now. It's insane. So yeah, I'm going to keep it going, obviously, next year. I know I said before I'm going to sort of let it take a back seat for a while, but it's just a good thing for the reset of everything, you know. Sort of, you need time off from stuff, and I'm always editing, and I sit for hours a day in this chair, like most people do when they go to work. But yeah, the idea is now to get some balance back in the day. Exercise more. I'm already exercising more. It's which is great. I'm eating a bit better and walking more. I'm going to try and get the balance of health and guitar and all that sort of stuff back to where I feel good. Do I have any advice regarding structuring guitar learning to fit playing and improvising blues in later stages? I think it's just, you got to pick stuff that's fun to play or that you aspire to play. That's kind of my mindset, was always like, I like the sound of this. How do we play this? And can I work it out? And if it meant learning a new chord, or if it meant, you know, it was a bit out of my bag currently, then I would come back to it at a later stage and learn something else like that as well. The good thing about blues, there's so many easy licks, and once you binge listen to someone enough, you start to kind of piece it together in your mind once you understand a couple of key phrases of that particular player, like Robert Cray, Albert King, Freddie King, Eric Clapton, B.B. King, all these guys. I can hear them play, and I know in my head roughly what's going on. I might not know the key to the exact tone, but I know roughly where they're playing, what they're doing, and how it all kind of fits together. And that just takes time. But the point is, you work out the parts you can, and you drill it in until you have a connection with it where you know exactly what's coming out of your hand as you're hearing it in your head, and vice versa. Because I think a lot of people learn scales and they'll run them up and down. Forget it. Or a lot of these players, they'll use the scales, and it's good to know those, obviously, but that's not the musicality. So try to keep it fun. If you love a pop song, see if you can work it out, or see if you can find the first chord and see if you can work out the root notes. You know, all that kind of stuff. It really helps sort of understand what's going on. I remember when I started learning some of the Chili Pepper stuff, I was surprised how many songs were so similar. I was like, oh, this is the same progression, basically, except for one chord. And I'm not saying all of that's easy, because there's stuff that I still can't play, but yeah, I've spent a lot of time sort of like listening to the blues masters, and it gets into your head where you can, like, if you hear Sultans of Swing, it's a song you can sing the solo to, or even Smooth, Carlos Santana, you know, all these tunes, or Black Magic Woman, whatever, you can hear the part in your head. You've kind of got to get it to that point, and if you can't hear it in your head, you probably can't play it properly. And that just takes going over it and over it, and some people can do that sooner or quicker than others and all that kind of stuff. But my other suggestion is always to, if you learn a really simple lick, get a backing track, play it over a slow blues, play it over something like a fast shuffle, a funk, anything. Just cue it up over 10 different feels and see if you can make it fit. That thing is so, like, that's the thing that a lot of people forget to do. So yeah, you learn your favorite lick from Stevie Ray, make it work over a shuffle, make it work over a slow blues, make it work over whatever, and it makes you accommodate the lick to the song. And that's the best practice. And practice the stuff you enjoy listening to. Because when I have a break from playing for a while, I literally just start queuing up backing tracks. I start with a slow minor blues, and then I'll do like a traditional sort of Chicago blues kind of thing. I'll do a fast shuffle, a funk, and then I'll get into all these other areas. And by like the 6th, 7th song, you're kind of flying around. So, yeah, just don't just listen to one, don't just practice over one type of feel. Cool. Tried the new Magnetone amps. No, I haven't. I haven't actually seen those either. I need to get my head in the game with that. I haven't seen them. I like Magnetone amps. I think they're great. All right. Hey, Sassy Cat. Thank you, mate. 16-month membership. Thank you, mate. Thanks for all the support. That's awesome. I hope Sky will let you demo the Pano Verb. You know, I was in there like 3 days ago. I don't know if they had one in. If it comes in, I'll grab it. Don't worry about that. I can borrow whatever I want from that shop. So if they've got it, I'll get it. So stay tuned. That'll definitely be on the list. I think if it isn't already in, I'll be queuing that video up for later in November, maybe early December or something like that. So hang in there. No, I haven't. No, we just got asked about that before. You can skip back a few minutes. I see the Artist Guitars have their 15th anniversary models released for pre-order. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I heard something about they've got a couple of things going on at the moment, but yeah, again, I haven't been on their website for a while, so I'll need to check that out. I do know I will be showcasing some more of their stuff coming up pretty soon, so yeah, I only found out about that via email. We've been chatting, so yeah. I'm actually going to re-review a few things that I did a while back because I feel like the recordings are better, the cameras are better. It's time for an update on a few of the old videos. So yeah, we're going to revisit some more affordable guitars, amps, all that kind of thing. So that should be pretty fun. I don't want to just go back over stuff, but there's certain things that I feel like I could have done better as well. So that's kind of where that's coming from. There's also, I found one other video from my old house over a year ago now. So I've been here already a year and a month, but or 2 months now. Is it? Yeah, something like that. That was shot at my old studio. So that I've queued that up as a just for a laugh later. I think it's early December, first or second day of December. Go to Namm, bring me. Yeah, man. I don't know. I kind of feel like it'd be fun. I mean, going to the US is the best. It's so much fun. But, yeah, I'd only probably go to Namm for a day. That would be enough. I wouldn't really want to spend 3 days in there. I think that, or however long it goes for. That'd be more than enough for me to go, okay. It's like the Melbourne Guitar Show on steroids, right? The Melbourne Guitar Show is small compared to that. But, you know, half a day's enough. It's like, that's enough. Get me out of here. Too many people. But, yeah, I should check it out while I don't know if it'll be this year or not, but eventually I'll definitely like to go. Yeah, go bring Dr. Rick. Yeah, he'd probably go. I wouldn't be surprised. I won't object to anyone hauling my ass to Namm either. Yeah, fair enough. Hey, we got Alex. Welcome, mate, from Minnesota, home of Jesse Ventura. He's a character, that guy, man. He's hilarious. Anyway, that's the only thing I know about Minnesota and the Timberwolves. Yeah, and they got a lot of pine trees, right? I think that's it. But anyway, welcome, mate. I'm only stirring you. Just showing my ignorance there. NJ says, I didn't buy a PRS from Anderson's because the setup off the wall was so terrible. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to buy a new guitar and it plays terribly, I'd walk away from it as well. But if everything's great and just obviously one string is just too low, that's not the end of the world if they can sort of just give it a quick tweak, and if it plays fine, you're good to go. But yeah, I totally get that, man. I'd be put off by a guitar that played terribly off a wall too. I'd be like, no thanks. The worst guitar I ever played was at Jerry's Lefty Guitars. Actually, it was a 1970s CBS era Stratocaster. It was so hard to play. It had no. I think what it was, the frets were so bad. Like some were completely gone, some were there. It was fretting out. It was doing all kinds of stuff, and stupid old me back then was like, "Oh, Lefty 70 Strat." I never played one, so I was like, "Oh, this is great." And I was like, "Man, I've never struggled more playing a guitar than that." But it was old and it needed new frets. But it was a beautiful looking guitar. It was just really tough to play. Scott says the best EHX is the Worm. Very cool. All mid-tier Lefty Schecters are set up straight from the factory. Cool. I mean, most companies should be doing that, right? But I don't think they... I think there's, again, maybe they're rushing certain things out and they're not quite as good as they should be, or potentially shipping them across the world is also a big part of a problem for a lot of places. Some distributors would... I don't even know if distributors would do much with them, to be honest. I think a lot of the time it would come to the shop to deal with it. And if they've got a tech there, it's easy. If they don't, then it's going to be a nightmare. David says he's got a Greco lawsuit era Les Paul killer guitar. Very cool, man. Yeah, we were just talking about that before. My Tokai has been the Gibson slayer when it comes to like in my collection. It's great. And I actually used it live a few weeks back, and it was awesome. It was great. I played it through the Tweed Tone 20 amp. Things sounded great. It was very inspiring to play. It felt funny because it's such a weird short scale. I'm so used to 24 frets now and all this other stuff that I've been playing on my Kiesels and the PRS custom 24s like that as well. It's just funny getting on Les Paul. It's like, oh, this feels like a big chunk of wood, but man, it sounded good. All right, take it easy, man. Thanks for dropping in. I appreciate it. Sorry for being slack ass on Instagram. I think you always message me when it's getting late. And I'm just like, oh, I'll reply tomorrow, and then that's it. I totally forget. So apologies, mate. All right. Hey, we got a super chat. Thank you, mate. Let's. I'll get back to all the questions in a sec. From Rocky Sloan. Hey, thank you, mate. He says, what's your thoughts on the Roland Blues Cube series all these years? I'm looking at getting one. Currently have a Boss Katana. So it's a much more simple amp than the Katana amps. It's also much more expensive. Look, I think they're fine. There's a jam that we actually went to a few weeks ago where the Roland Blues Cubes were the front of house, or the, what do you call it, like the back line. And they sounded fine. I was like, oh, these amps are good. What are they? I thought, oh, they're Blues Cubes. I was actually quite shocked. But they're kind of expensive for a solid state amp. If you can get them used, definitely do that. They're new, they're solid state, they're made by Roland, they'll last forever. I always say if you can get a used Peavey Bandit, like this red stripe one, I did a shootout years ago. I think the Bandit is way more versatile, but they don't have the cool aesthetic of the Blues Cube. I kind of get what people like about the Blues Cube, because you got that, you can kind of blend the channels. You'll either like that or you won't. I didn't particularly love that. I thought it was okay, but if you plan on using it like on the clean or dirty channel, or even with pedals, it's going to be fine. It's going to be a better pedal platform than the Katana. The Katanas are okay with pedals, but they're not the best. They still sort of suffer from that. I don't know what it is. I just don't like it as much as I do solid state amps. So overall, I think they're fine. My suggestion would be buy the largest one you can afford in terms of its power output, because you can always scale it down on the amp. And the more headroom you have, the better when it comes to solid state stuff. And they put quality speakers in there as well. But again, if you're sort of looking to save a few bucks, see if you can find a used Peavey Bandit. The red stripe, the silver stripe one, they're all so loud. And you might save yourself 60%. So, yeah, keep that in mind. I think they're solid amps, and I don't really have any like major issues with them at all. I think I was talking about them on a solid state amp podcast a while ago. If I can find it, I'll link it down in the description after this. But thank you, mate. All right. Oh, we went back to the top of the chat. How does that happen? Anyway, sorry guys, just let me scroll back down here. All right. Could you review it or suggest earphones? What's it say? Listen. No, hang on. No, I'm not too sure. It's getting late. Oh, are you saying can I recommend earphones? If you're talking about like wireless ones, no, I'm not going to go there. But there's plenty of good I use mostly like over-ear sort of headphones for my stuff. But yeah, I'm not really too sure what you're asking there, mate. So sorry, dude. All right, let me have a look. Oh, sorry, Mr. Music. Here we go. Hey, Shane, I'm curious on what you think about custom amps. I picked up a 30-watt keyboard amp with a real spring reverb, a chorus for 150 New Zealand dollars at a charity shop. Great guitar clean tones for a decent price. Cool. So custom amps are, again, pretty hit and miss. Some of their larger combos they kind of look like they'd be similar to a twin, but in the mix they disappear. They don't have a lot of mid-range. They're all bottom end. Some of their smaller practice amps, like some of their 5-watt ones, are good fun, but they also don't have a whole lot of headroom. So you got to kind of make sure you play them before you buy them if you're looking for a different one. I found some of their combos to be excellent in the live mix, and like I said before, also disappear. So yeah, there's some ones you might find that have like a toll, like they almost look like a diner seat or a booth. They kind of got that rolled vinyl, leatherish kind of look, and they can be pretty cool too. So yeah, I know Credence were playing them back in the day. But yeah, they're really hit and miss. It's one of the few brands I'll say that for. But yeah, I don't know them well enough to give you a particular model number. But a good friend of mine, actually, I've got a few friends over the years that have had custom amps, and again, really hit and miss anytime I played through them at jams. I haven't had like extensive experience with them, but yeah, they're quite hit and miss. So give them a shot before you buy. Let's just put it this way: I wouldn't be rushing out to buy one of their valve amps or tube amps for me personally. I think there's much better options. All right. Do I still have the stock speaker in your Tweetone 20R? I have. I've tried it with a whole bunch of different speakers. Actually, I spoke about this the other week. It's one of the few amps where I've tried like 4 different speakers or going into different cabs or whatever, and the stock speaker works, and it's a Celestion 7080. I can't believe it, but it works. So it's staying in there. Throw some thumbs up, folks. Yeah, what are we up to? We're up to 51 thumbs up. There's 93 people watching. That's awesome. So thanks for joining in, everybody. I appreciate it. We're at the 49-minute mark, and again, apologies for being late today. It's yeah, the tech problems suck, man. This computer over the last few weeks has been a nightmare. I think I've been pushing it a little on the hard side, so it might be its last year of service. It's probably produced, I would hate to guess, maybe 3,000 videos. I'm talking about all kinds of stuff on different channels for different people, different projects. It's done a lot. So yeah, maybe only like 1,200 videos for this channel, but shorts and reels and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, what's my favorite venue to play in Melbourne? You know, that's a good question, man. I don't really sort of do the gigging circuit anymore. There's like a handful of venues that are that sort of do the music that I would play. I would say my favorite one would be Elevation in Emerald, which was this big hall. It's like this modern kind of venue. That place rocks, and they usually get a pretty good crowd. We used to do the this radio festival there for a few years in a row, and then we'd perform live on the radio station, which was nerve-wracking but also fun. And yeah, that would probably be one of my favorites, although that's sort of like out of the city. I'm only really playing at like the Lyrebird Lounge. We played at the this other blues club in Thomastown? Thornbury. And that was pretty cool too. But I think like if we're actually talking about great venues, some of the ones in Sydney Road would be the way to go. Oh, what's the name of the place? It's been years, man. I sort of haven't been sort of going to the same sort of venues or that I used to go to years ago. But there's heaps of great venues, man. I don't even know where to start. I just can't think of a whole lot of them right now. But what's the name of it? The Cornish Arms was always fun. That was probably one of my favorite gigs back in the day. That was really cool. Let us know where you play too, Dan, if you're a Melbourne musician. That's cool. DMS says he played Valve Customs a few times. They were okay. The ones I tried anyway. Yeah, I mean, look, they're not awful, but certain amps that sort of sound better, but like at home or when you test them in the shop and then you take them out and play them live and you go, I'm struggling, right? That's how I felt with some of them, and some of their amps were great. So you've just got to. It's a bit like Ignator. Ignator is one of those kind of brands. They can sound amazing or they can sound awful. I don't sort of feel the same way about like many of the Fender amps or the Marshall amplifiers or whatever. They usually got their own sort of thing going on. The custom amps kind of stuck in limbo with they're either going to be great or they're not. And same with Crate. Crate's another brand that comes to mind where they're either phenomenal amplifiers with like the best speaker you've ever seen or they're awful. Aaron says, speaking of backing tracks on YouTube, I hate those guys play over the first 2 minutes of their video before we get to the track. 100%. That Quist guy, I stopped. I like a recommendation came up in, you know how it comes up on the homepage. It's like, don't recommend channel. Man, I'm totally agree. We're not there to watch some other guy noodle, right? It doesn't inspire you. It just aggravates you. You lose this flow. You want to play your lick at the start of the song. Yeah, I don't want to hear that. Yeah, I totally agree. That's brutal. That's one of the worst things you're going to find on YouTube, man. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't mind when they're playing guitar, like doing the rhythm stuff. I think that's great. There's a few really great players who do like really tasty rhythm stuff, and you can watch them do it over the track. But yeah, there's nothing worse. That sucks. Comment of the day, man. That oh no, where'd it go? I don't know what happened just then. See the thing disappear? Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. So I can't use the middle button. I was gonna. Oh man, sorry guys. Far out. I tried my best to get this going again before the stream. So, hey, Custom had some crazy padded vinyl covering in funky colors. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it reminded me of like an old school diner booth, you know, with the seats. That kind of had the lines down the middle of it and stuff. It was kind of cool visually. Dougal says, YouTube notifications don't alert me until the stream is half over. Man, I tell you what, we spoke about this on the last live stream. I feel like notifications on my channel are broken. I can see analytics and all that kind of stuff, and it just doesn't work. I've had so many people complain about like, hey, I didn't even know you were still posting videos. I thought you had it break for like 6 months. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, I've got notification bells on and it's not working. Same thing happens when I watch another friend of mine's channel who's in the US, in the camera industry. I never see his videos, so I have to go every now and then. I just have to turn off the bell and click it again, and that fixes it. But it only fixes it for however long it is. And I've done that several times this year, so I'm not too sure what's going on with the notifications. But yeah, if you're not getting notified, just try that. Just I know that place in Emerald had good food too. Yeah, actually, I don't remember eating there, but I found some old band footage from back in the day at that venue. It was great. It was such a cool. Oh, Music Land. Yeah, it's great. I played there a whole bunch of times. We actually did a gig years ago for this TV show there. And we were doing a new song and I forgot my words. And I thought, oh, I'll be right. It's my own tune. And the groove was cooking. Could not remember the words. It was so embarrassing. I was like, oh. We had to say, oh, which song do you want filmed? We're like, do this one, number 3. And yeah, we butchered it. But that's... And I remember walking into a music shop the other, like a few days after that gig, I was like demoralized, and the owner goes, "Oh, I saw that gig." I was like, "Oh no, man!" It's like one of the worst experiences. I mean, I just laugh it off. You got to laugh it off, right? There's some people who hit wrong notes and it's ruined their month. But yeah, I just sort of like had to have a laugh. It's like, yeah, shit happens, I suppose. All right, let me just scroll down here. Yeah, Faulkner's so far. It's like it's far from anywhere. Like, we used to go there all the time. They used to have a blues jam, I think, on like a Thursday night. The sound there is great. The guy, I don't know if he still owns it or not, but the guy that owned the place back in the day was such a nice dude. It was really a step up over like anywhere else, really, that joint. It probably still is. I don't think there's many places like that. The problem with the live music scene now, you know, you're playing in cafes and venues that aren't really designed for like a whole lot of loud music. There's a lot of loud music still, but it's getting smaller and smaller to the point where I kind of wonder how much more of the, you know, rocking up with 60 watt amps is going to be around the next sort of 10 years. They're kind of like stacking homes everywhere next to venues, and people complain, and people, yeah, it's pretty tough. All right. GW Taylor, welcome, man. If I didn't say hi before, sorry. I probably already have. He says, good day, Shane. Lunchtime here in Scotland. Have you ever tried Orange solid state heads? I'm stuck between a Crush Pro 120 and a newer Crush Super 100. Any experience? No. But I'll definitely try some soon, because I've had so many requests to review the Orange solid state amps that I'm going to get them. So next time I go to Sky Music or whatever the case is, if they've got them, I'll bring them back. It's definitely on the list. So hang in there. I'd like to tell you I have so many people asking me about this, and it's a question I can't answer. So that'll change coming up. So yeah. Anyway, hope you're doing well, mate. Thanks for joining in. All right, we got Juanma. Is that how you say that? Juanma from Guatemala. Very cool. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, exactly. This is the thing with Melbourne, right? But it's getting kind of like, yeah, the noise from the venues. Yeah, this is the thing. You move into an area where there's been a venue for 30 years, but the venue gets usually the bad deal. It's I've seen that all the time from venues in different areas around Melbourne. Boogie Band Room is an amazing venue. We're playing a venue called Mumba Chen's in Footscray. Very cool, mate. Awesome stuff. I hope you have a good gig, man. That's super cool. I've had a couple of weeks off playing live. I've just been sort of catching up on a few things, and like I said, I'll be away at about the second week of next month. So I'm kind of just got my head down, queuing things up. But I'd like to get back out and play again before that happens. So yeah. All right, guys, how long we got? We got 58 minutes and 55 seconds. So we might wrap this up on the hour. If anyone has any last questions or whatever, let us know. Be happy to answer or have a chat about whatever. And yeah, thanks for joining in. And I appreciate everybody's patience again for starting late. I think that's the first time I've been late to a live stream. So anyway, it won't happen again, I promise. I'll have all this kind of crap sorted out for next time. It's not just one thing, right? Like when the computer's crap and then I've got to update stuff and set up everything, it takes way longer than it should. I'm going to change the mode on my camera, and it's anyway, it is what it is. All right. Ibanez Laney says, people who want to buy the venue plant someone in a rental nearby to complain. Oh, yeah, you might be right. Yeah. So that's... I'm sure that happens, right? there's dodgy dudes doing that. That sucks. Greetings from the Gold Coast. I just bought a hybrid 2 Tele. Any recommendations for pickups? Let me have a look at that one before we wrap this up. Any recommendations for pickups? Well, I would ask you, like, what's wrong with them to start with? Because there's sort of like, pickups are a rabbit hole you generally don't want to go down a lot of the time, because it can be not what you expect, and that happens more often than not. You know, earlier we were talking about Texas Special pickups being like a pretty safe choice, no matter what you're coming from. So maybe if you're happy with a bit of buzz, check those out. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of great pickups out there. My favorite set I've still got in my 52 reissue Telecaster are those Danny Gatton pickups. They're killer, but they won't be for everybody, right? So you kind of got to decide what you like. A lot of people also like the Twisted Tele set. Dr. Rick uses those. They're kind of like a really snappy neck pickup and a pretty sort of bright bridge pickup. So yeah, you got to, with pickups, you've really got to just spend time going down the rabbit hole of trying to find comparison videos, because there's so much wrong with pickup demos. They're almost useless. I'm almost convinced no matter what anyone does in a pickup video, it's useless. Like if I'm comparing, when I did my lace sensor pickup video up against the 59 Strat pickups, that's helpful if the amp is set up perfectly for both sets. But instead what everyone wants, which is useless, is leave the amp the same. How about it the other way around? How about I dial in the amp for the pickups? I change the settings to suit the sound that I like, and then I can get a comparable tone. That should be how it is, but no one wants that. So a lot of people, including myself, have stuck to the formula of making pickup reviews where you leave the amp set a particular way, which is the exact opposite of how it works. If you grab a different guitar with different pickups, plug into an amp, you're going to re-EQ the amplifier. It's just what you do. So everyone's like, oh, lace sensors sound muffled. Well, turn up the presence control, turn up the treble. But if you do that, people complain, oh, you've changed the EQ. Of course I've changed the EQ. So pickup videos are absolutely useless. They're only good if you get a comparable sound and the trade-off is worth it. So like if a noiseless pickups with the same settings can sound as good as single coil pickups, that's cool. But I would also argue you probably still want to EQ those. So it's a bit of a rabbit hole with stuff, because your ear is tuned to a sound that you like. And anytime I played the lace sensor pickups, I would turn up the treble. I'm hearing a brighter sound out of these new hot noiseless ones I put in to my Strat. Inherently, even like all things being equal, they've got a brighter sound, like maybe a little too bright. So I'd back off the treble. So I'm still dialing in a similar sound. It's just how they feel is something that's hard to convey. And then there's like, yeah, anyway, it's something I've been thinking about for a while. I think pickup comparison videos are useless. All of them. I think the premise is good, and I've made them before, but the flaw in it is the audience never wants to hear the potential of them at their best. You're hearing them with the same settings, which sucks. It's the worst thing in the world. Anyway, that's where we'll leave it. I'll turn that into one of those YouTube shorts. All right, guys, take care. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. We'll do another one of these coming up pretty soon. I got a whole bunch of stuff scheduled for the rest of... Actually, not so much for the rest of this month. I'm kind of queuing up a little ahead of where I'm at right now. But there'll definitely be some videos popping up over the next few days, so hang in there. And thanks again for hanging out. I appreciate it. I'm going to have some water because I've not had enough. All right, guys, take care. Thanks again. Leave a thumbs up if you can. Check your notification bell. Do all that YouTube-y stuff. It does help, so thank you again. If I missed your question, I apologize, guys, because the chat goes all over the place, and I'll probably timestamp this to some extent before I go to bed. So, yeah, just drop a comment if I missed you or a question in the regular chat where you would normally post, and I'll answer it as I'm timestamping. All right, guys, rock on. Take care, and I will catch you soon. See ya.